So, recently Automobilista 2 had a update which should bring some further improvements to tires and physics and everything, and should also be the last real update of this cycle. And before anybody says anything, a cycle can be a few months or can be half a year, which happened with V1.6, so we don't exactly know when the next update will be. But let's just investigate what happened in this update. And I have the changelog here on my right, on your left I believe it will be. And let's have some quick looks at it. And first, if we just go to the PC, we can clearly see, if we just go from this view, some few things have been changed, like the fixed odd mouse activations, inconsistent text, track selection and grade filtering, but something which I thought was really cool, if we go back here, instead if we go from here, yeah, like here, the carts have their own cool logos, and Supercart has it too, has a new cooler logo. So I thought that was quite fun. And then otherwise in the UI, is there anything really? The credits they have changed, which I've been tempted to just figure out. And yeah, here are some few teasers for my next livery pack coming up. And as you can see here, I'm working on a certain livery. But yeah, now let's jump into the main thing, which is physics and the tire changer. So let me just jump into here to Daytona so I can talk to you about it. And here is something I've also talked about. Now I've given a bug thing that they should adjust the layers, because yeah, you can see here it covers up the text and it's not so good. So if we just jump into Drive, let me just talk to you through what the changes are. So obviously they say minor treads adjustments, complete physics revisions for all cards, which I feel like there is a difference, but there isn't really a difference. Or I mean, there is a difference, but yeah, you don't feel it as much. I will show them off in this video, but if we just start here with this car by starting the ignition, I believe. Hasn't the ignition turned on? Or what's the issue now? I don't know. So let me just jump into here. Okay, so there's something wrong with my thing. So let me just pause and I will get back to you. Okay, so now the issue is fixed. Oh, but my steering isn't. Okay, let me just come back. Okay, so now we should be good enough. Some weird things happened, but if we just drive out here with cold tires, I can talk to you about some things which I've noticed. I feel like, in my opinion, the actual loss of grip has become more abrupt, so you can feel that a bit better. And also when driving, I feel like, yeah, the cold tires are really horrible when driving. So like here you can hear it, but also I can feel there is barely any grip. So if I just go here and then try and go on the throttle, yeah, you start getting quite a bit of slip. And then you're locking up is quite a issue with cold tires. So yeah, in general with this car, the slip angle, what you want to call it, not actual slip, or what I once tried to say is the curve depending on slip has become a lot steeper when going across the actual line. And what I mean by that is, if you think about this like with slip, there will be a slight you will have a base grip. It will be, as I understand it, you will have a base grip. It increases a bit with certain amount of slip and then it goes down. it used to be like with V1.5, the line used to never really go down. And with V1.6, it went down, but it was not as steep, not super steep. Now it's gotten quite a bit steeper, but it's nowhere close to, nowhere near iRacing levels. And I feel like in this car when going out, you can really feel the actual difference. And I feel like that's quite a good thing, because obviously you don't want to, like with cold tires, I've heard a lot about the cold tires, like, I think it was, someone said, if I recall correctly, in LMDH cars, when going out on cold tires, you were doing like GT3 pace with the actual corners. So I don't know how quick this car is currently, but it definitely doesn't feel the quickest, like you could see there. It really feels like it gets snapped quite a bit. And then also I talked about how with V1.6 it felt like the cars had more grip when going under the limit and then less grip over the limit. Yeah, more under, less over. But here, with these adjustments compared to V1.6, it feels like you roughly have the same under the limit, but then over the limit you definitely have a lot less. And then yeah, I believe I've talked enough about this car, but then let me just take you to Fontana and let me show you how the Formula USA Gen 2 handle now on ovals. So this car will be driving the Lola. It has a few issues currently. They will be fixed probably, because yeah, as you can see here, it has traction control going up to like level 100 or something when it shouldn't actually have traction control. So that's an issue, and then it has a few others which you will be seeing now. Like it goes automatically to 6. There you can see by the shaking of the camera, you can see it really isn't that good. Feels a lot like driving using a controller. Oh my god, you can see the graph on my dashboard showing the driver input. So that's something, yeah, which has shaken my camera quite a bit. So let me just fix that. So now I'm just driving the Swift car. And this one doesn't have that issue, but something this one shows quite clearly is when trying to overturn the steering wheel. And by that I mean is when driving you will feel a natural edge where if you turn it doesn't feel like you can actually turn more. And AMS2 has had those issues before with overturning, but like in this car, if you're pushing hard with cold tires, there's a clear edge. Then if you try to overturn it, like you see me doing now, you get understeer. I will show you in a different car a bit later, but this one has clear issues. Like I was overturning through there and I was losing a bit of time, but I'm going quite quickly. But I can really feel every bump. This guy is really quick. Doesn't feel like anybody has done anything on Fontana yet. I mean, world record is 3.99. I'm barely driving quickly and I can nearly beat it. Except now, yeah, understeer, as you saw. So this car, yeah, when overturning, you have huge amount of understeer. So you have to try and chuck the rear in and then not get any real slip, or you try to slip and have it at an angle through these corners to try and keep optimum speed, and then this long corner is quite a bad one. But them accelerating like that, yeah, does very well. Okay, so my potential is higher. No, it's quicker than the world record. So let me try to beat it. Ah, that didn't go so well. Well, let me just keep. So 3.4. So now like that. Keep me just going. Boom. World record. So these cars are... They're a lot harder to really... They are harder to drive. But it feels a lot better actually. It feels very fun to drive these cars now. Driving on the edge where you can feel the rear slipping, but you still have grip. They can just push the car. As you saw through there. It was really going quickly. 400 Ks reached. That I've never reached in this sim. But yeah, let me just... I feel like we've talked enough about these cars. And as you saw there, turning too quickly can also lead to crashes. But now, let me jump into another car and another track to show you a combination which I feel like shows this edge of the edge of front grip quite clearly. Okay, so now we're in Silverstone, driving the GT3 Gen 2. And I will show you quickly what I'm talking about. So through here, I usually, if we just brake into fourth, then just push, and now through here, it always felt like you could turn, but okay, so it has changed a bit now, but always on cold tires. I think my driving style has changed now, because I used to just do not infinite angle, but you used to overturn, because I always felt like you had that edge of grip like with tire slip. I used to always have, because I have the rumble motors, it always told me, oh, you're slipping the tires, but I always felt like, oh, that doesn't really matter, like this edge of grip, because I always, or this turning, the tires scrubbing, or what you want to call it, I always got that information, but I never felt like I had to really listen to that information, because the grip felt like you had enough when going over, and by enough I actually mean you had more. But now it doesn't feel like that. And I'm a person who's no expert in vehicle dynamics, but take away a certain feeling which I'm used to, and I will actually recognize it. Because that's what I feel like in a lot of these situations, with me at least. You can have like physics in the physics, which I feel like, oh, they seem all sort of reasonable. Like V1.5, they felt quite good. But then when they added the Formula Ultimate Gen 2 new model of it, and then the V1.6 physics to it, I felt like, yeah, that actually feels a lot better. And I can see why. And now with this, everybody talked about this infinite steering. I never really felt, and I couldn't say that I have ever felt that issue before. That like, oh, it felt like I could steer it an infinite amount. But now it feels like you really can't do that, and I really feel that now, because it seemed like I used to, but now I can't. So do you get me? You never... I really like this quote, which I believe explains it a lot better. You never know what you've got until you have lost it. So like I have this... So let's... Like you go on a holiday, you might feel like... Before holiday, yeah, I can enjoy everything, and I can enjoy being from my computer and these things, not playing racing games. But then you get bored sometimes, and then you're like, oh, I wish I could play, or I wish I could do this. It's like that. You know what you have lost when you have lost it. No, you don't know what you have until you have lost it. Like if they remove the car certain track from the game. Like Silverstone, I really love. And I would really not like it if they removed it. So this was the GT3 and what I was talking about. But now let me just jump quickly into one of the karts and let me just show you the physics. Even though I really don't like the karts in the game. But yeah, that's a taste of mine which I can talk to you about a bit now. Okay, so we're driving the 125cc. And I'm just going to talk about these from my own personal experience driving karts. I've not really driven one which has this amount of power, but I've driven one which I believe goes roughly the same speed. And what I can say is this can be just FFP, but I don't believe it. The cars feel a bit too snappy in general. Or not that, but yeah, or actually, I think I'm just overthinking now, because they used to be really snappy with V1.6, but now they definitely feel a lot better, and they can snap sometimes when like turning and things, but it's not nearly as much, and they feel a lot better. But like through there, I don't think I touched the curb, so I don't fully understand why I lost the rear, and I believe the karts, in general, karts are maybe not the best thing which seems to have simulated. I remember Kart Sim I played a bit before a few years ago, and I felt that was really good. It felt like you could really do it like you do in real life. I'm not going to come out and say like Automobilista are doing it better, or any sim in reality, but I don't feel like any sim do them properly, except Kart Sim, which was fully dedicated to it. Hopefully that's something which people can, that the devs can improve on. And obviously they can come back and say like we have this data and things, and this means this is actually good, which I can understand, but maybe to compare that, maybe I should try one of the other karts which is more like something I've driven. So in Stockholm we have quite a few karting tracks I've driven. I can just tell you now quickly. I've driven in Järfälla Hyrkart, which is quite a cool one. I've driven in... what other one? I've driven in one which used to be close to Globen, Avicii Arena, but that one I don't think exists anymore. I've driven the one in Kista too. There's a new one down south close to Södertälje, which I haven't driven yet. But yeah, I feel like I've driven electric ones, and I've driven normal what you want to call petrol ones, so I can understand the difference. But that one has 32 horsepower, just noticed, and this one has 12. Yeah, this sounds a lot more like the one I've driven. Yeah, this feels quite a lot, yeah. I feel like I was maybe not driving the correct one. Yeah, this one feels a lot like what I've driven. They feel quite on edge. They don't feel on edge fully. Yeah, these are a lot like the ones I've driven, where the acceleration is really bad in them, or it feels like that in slower speeds, and then when you accelerate you can push, and then with the brakes you can brake, and then if you try and brake a bit too hard you can lose the rear. So these, yeah, so now I actually change my mind and say the carts actually do feel quite good in this game. I just have to think about ones I've driven. Except for that, maybe it feels, that felt a bit weird. So maybe in the carts actually the tires are a bit, maybe they lose grip a bit too easily when turning a lot. That was due to me locking my brake. But it could also been could have been me turning a bit too quickly. But I will always complain. But let's say racing drivers will always complain on their car, and that's what I'm doing now. But this feels quite good actually, quite nice. So in the sim, it feels a bit too slow to my liking, and what I mean by that is when you have the chance to drive this around Buskerud, the Norwegian track, or a Formula 1 car around Silverstone, what I choose, well, the Formula 1 car, because I mean that's what I think is cool. But I have to actually drive a kart. I haven't driven one in quite a long time. Last time I drove a kart, I believe, was in the snow. So maybe I should have another look, and then I can actually do a proper opinion. But yeah, that felt quite good around that corner. And then I spun. And I hit the wall. So yeah, that was roughly that for this car. I don't think there's anything else really in here. Oh yeah, we have a few things actually. So let me just go back, and we shall try wet weather driving actually. I feel like I read that the puddles have changed a bit. So let's go to my trusty Silverstone. Yeah, let's just try it in the GT3 Gen 2. Cheese livery, obviously. Daytona, no. We want to go to Silverstone. Down here. Then here we choose Thunderstorm and Wet. And why I choose these conditions is because I've seen videos of it, and also before it was used to be absolutely horrible. It was basically impossible to drive around here using these conditions. Whilst then V1.6 made the track very slippery, but still you could drive. So let me just see now. It seems like some audio isn't on for the raindrops, which is interesting. And then the tracks, so I have to revise that. But if we just drive out around here, the white stock is probably because I set it to be at midnight before, and just slippery. So if we just look here, the track is really slippery. If we just drive, that was interesting. It felt like I had quite a lot of grip when just going over to the off the racing line. So that's quite realistic from what I understand. You can see the racing line is quite a lot slippier. Yeah, I can feel a bit less grip when on the racing line. I'm just taking a wide line and sliding. So we have passed the actual first part of the track, which used to be completely impossible to drive with V1.5. V1.6 improved it and made it so you could actually drive, so that feels good. But if we just keep on going down here, and let me just brake. Didn't go brake enough, and I'm going to slip. No, I didn't. That's quite nice. Okay, so this section, Maggots Beckett, feels good. Quite slippery, but not too aquaplane-y, if you know what I mean. Let's just go back. Okay, down here there's a bit of a dip, and yay. Maybe not showing too much emotions, being quite like Oscar Piastri, but that there used to be a huge puddle there a lot of the time, where you would guaranteed like aquaplane and lose grip. So now it's not there. So now you can just drift around. But yeah, the track is really slippery, and the puddles here don't look too different. This is interesting. Have I just found an Easter egg? Let us just try that again. So this will be a bit of a weird excursion. So if we just go back on the other way through the pits, and let me just try. Okay, yeah, crash, I don't care. Then let us just go back this way. Then let us just go around here, and then... What was it? No. Go like that, and then turn like that. Okay. Okay, so didn't work this time. Okay, and then you can come out if you hug the wall. So that's interesting. I wonder where that actually leads to, but we'll have to do that another time. But now, let's head off to a circuit which has actually received a overhaul. And I know this is maybe not what you expected for combination, but this is what you get. So what AMS2 has gotten, or Race have done, is taken the standard of this circuit and made it up to AMS2 standard from AMS1, where this circuit is apparently originally from. And the big difference is, as you can see, I don't fully remember this whole... I don't fully remember seeing these mountains and everything. If I'm wrong, just comment down below, but this looks majestic, and they have 3D trees. This looks beautiful. And then the 3D trees on the side, you can see they look quite nice. And then that's not so good. If we just go back, so the 3D trees and then the graphics and everything is different. I read, or I saw. To the actual circuit, the mountains in the distance look really nice now. Or they do too. I believe these houses have gotten like more polygons, so they look better. But yeah, it really feels like you're up in the mountains with this circuit. And it looks really nice around it. I don't know how it was before. I don't remember if I've done a video around this circuit actually. But let me see if I can find a video on YouTube so we can compare. And would you look at that? This channel, Motogames TV, has done a video which shows you the difference in between the two versions. So if we just go back to the start here, we can just quickly watch this video and then I will end. So you can see here, so this is after, this is before. You can see it feels a bit shinier in this in here compared to here. Wait, I will just switch so like here. So now you can hopefully hear, but yeah, it looks shinier here over here than here. And you can also see here it's quite flat. Here you have a mountain. Now you should hear, yes. So if we just go back to here, the braking, yeah, this is, instead of being head on, it's from the side, and they have this crane, which is quite interesting. And the grandstand looks different, the same, and here, yeah. Okay, so there were mountains before, but they look a lot bigger, and the trees look denser, sort of, and here you have, it looks better here compared to there, in my opinion. And you can see also it feels a bit blue. Here it feels like blue, so cooler, whilst here it feels yellow, so a bit lighter or hotter, you can say. So that's something nice. Then if we look here, yeah, the grass looks a bit greener. Here it feels a lot more 2D than here, in my opinion. Here it looks like it has vegetation compared to there. And it should be braking. And here you can see there are more mountains in this area compared to there. Like then. And this blue crane is different. That's interesting. And then here, yeah, when you go, you have a few mountains and a bit of trees, but it looks a lot denser here. And yeah, it just looks like you have more mountains. And there it looks more like the Alps. Then if we just go forwards, yeah, you can see here. You have a bit of a mountain here, but here it looks like they look like more peaks and yeah, it looks more built up. So that's really cool. Now everything just looks better, and you can see here, oh my god, the trees look very different. Here they look like weird, what's it called, pine, I believe it is. But here they look a lot better. The 3D trees make the circuit look a lot better. Then here too you can see the vegetation. It's less dense, but it looks better, yeah, because here it looks more 2D than here, which is quite cool. So this was a good video. Oh, and then it goes in the Honda. Oh, in the old version too. This we can have a look at too. So no big difference currently. But here when we come here, yeah, you can see the mountains. It looks a lot denser here with the forest. It looks more like a forest. It's generally the same thing. This guy's pushing it. This tree is different. That's interesting. So yeah, basically it's the same thing. Where it looks like the trees are a lot more dense. And that was basically it. There were other minor changes, in my opinion, to some like audio, some screens which had a higher resolution, yada yada, those kind of things. But I feel like that was basically it for this update and this video. So what did you like, or was there anything you didn't feel which you wanted me to talk about? Comment down below. Once you're done there, please hit the like button and also subscribe. And before I talk about my next video, how do you like my shirt? It's me and my beautiful cat Paddington, as you can see his name here. He's quite a little cutesy wootsy cat. He's actually been in my second ever video, so that's an interesting thing. And there's been in a few of my previous videos. He hasn't been in a video for quite a long time. So comment down below if you want to see maybe next video. And speaking of next video, what might that be? Well, I might show off my livery pack. I might show off some other things I've been doing, or if there's anything really, I can show off some cool telemetry, basically anything really. I don't really know currently. So comment down below really whatever you want. But until then, I've been Racing Legend, you've been my amazing viewers. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.